You want to get a work off for it. No, that's for good. What, when they go make a coffee? Oh, I have plenty of. Oh, just send it? I'll take them.
Okay, so you are live on YouTube.
Okay.
I think we should get out of that.
All right, welcome back to the Conservation Commission public session. We're gonna kick right into the agenda here. We already did the roll call on seating of alternates. You're gonna be the primary minute.
Yeah.
Since Jenny Lucas is absent. Okay, so we have let's move on to the review and approval of the meeting minutes from the June 26th, 2025 meeting. Did anybody have any comments on those minutes that haven't already been submitted?
There was one thing, and I can't find it right now. When I went over these minutes a week or two ago, somewhere reviewing it,
Right here.
the revision
Is,
I'm sorry, correct?
yeah,
The mission statement that we presented was expressed as described as being proposed. It has actually been approved, and I think wherever this appears, it should be formally noted as the approved official missions or vision. What is it? Vision.
Mission.
Mission.
Yeah.
But it's, the minutes actually look good. I don't know where it's.
Okay, so it may have already been taken. Says the commission approved the adoption of the mission statement.
Yeah, it's up, and that's good.
That's
We
good.
did.
Okay,
Somewhere else.
I think it's down where it says the Conservation Commission is the lead party. The I on this is capitalized because it automatically capitalized after a period. Right. I think that's a number 2. Right below what you were. Update, mark update.
oh, okay, I got you.
Gotcha. That was all I.
Okay. So we will fix that, lowercase I, okay? That, is there a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
So moved.
All right. Any further discussion on the meeting minutes? All right,
Okay, I'll second.
any other discussion? We're good? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we'll get these to Kristen to post, or I guess to Alicia, depending on how long Kristen's out, so they'll be posted on the website very soon. I'll make this this tiny change, and we should be good to go. All right, so our next item is the town update. We'll have to wait for Mark to come back. So why don't we move to item 4, which is the. Okay, we could do that too if Tim.
Oh, if it's on
Are you
your
here for
agenda at
privilege
that
of the
time, that was one of the.
Are you here
requests.
for privilege of the floor?
Yes, I was gonna
Oh.
be here for privilege of the floor. If you have.
Did
that
you
on your
want to
agenda.
wait, or do you want to, we can move that up first?
I'd love if you could move it up, that'd be great, because I have an
Absolutely.
eye appointment in Lincoln at 1:20.
Yeah, that is absolutely. All right, all Tim. So we're happy to move we can do it both times in case somebody else shows up,
Sure.
but yeah, why don't we?
Perfect.
Privilege of the floor.
All right, well, thanks for having me. First of all, I want to come here. Obviously, our community is going through some civil unrest right now. And I noticed in the last meeting, there's quite a bit of that on this meeting. I do watch these meetings religiously. It's way faster at 2 times speed, though. I'm just gonna tell you all. You want to make this real quick. But the main part of the civil unrest that I believe, we just need to be better. We can be better than this. I'm here, and in your mission statement that you guys adopted last meeting, it clearly states that you're looking to collaborate. I believe that also is communicate with the Waterville Valley Ski Resort. I have yet to actually take any sort of active participation with this board since in the 10 years that I've been here. So it's great that you guys are getting more involved, but I will say that I encourage you to reach out to me, come to the meetings. We talk quite a bit. You can always call me. You can go to the Tuesday meetings. We can answer a lot of these questions that came up during this last meeting. Things like, what is the sign outside of the conference center? Not really conservation commission topic. However, if there's questions about that, I'm here to answer those questions. That is a liquor permitting sign. That is a sign because we have people that will walk in during events with their own beverages. And it's been a constant problem that we've had. The private property signs that are on some of our other lands, I can explain all that stuff. This is really not the place to do that. Tuesday meeting is a great spot for that. I'm always open for questions. I'm trying to encourage more and more people to get on that because I feel like that's a way for questions to be asked and to be answered in a public setting that is respectful. And as there's a lot of these little things that don't really belong in meetings like this. So want to talk about that real quick. If you have any questions about those, please reach out to me. The trail easements issues, which I believe is a little bit more centered in this board. Like what about the trail easements? How are the trail easements managed? Just so you know, all those trail easements that are in town through private properties the easements now belong in the resort's hands. And those easements on those certain trails, I highly recommend if you have a question on the easement, look up the deed. The deed will tell you where the easement is and who has the easement. Some of the trails that have been developed in this town are actually illegal trails. That the property owner does have the right to close off if they wish. Please reach out to the property owner though, because a lot of times they just don't know. They just simply don't know that there's a trail that people are using that is going through their property and action is, interrupting that. Although I will also say, after talking to Ian at the Adventure Center, a lot of those trails are causing damage to the trails that we maintain. Whether it's a runoff situation because the tread path creates a different runoff stream into trails that we're maintaining, or if it's simply people are using those trails to walk across a Nordic trail, causing boot pack that's damaging the Nordic trail. So there are some of those issues going on out there, and I'm here to collaborate with you guys and work with you guys to try to figure out how we can best suit the general public in those. There was a lot of talk about the Warriors. I won't get into that, but we do have good reasons why we have private property signs up there and why the Warriors have been a different group for us to manage over the time, but I'll be happy to answer that on Tuesday's call. I understand you guys are going to be talking about the new activity zone. At the end of this meeting, unfortunately, I won't be able to stay. James Sununu is in town right now, and he offered if you guys want him to have a communication with you guys, he'd be willing to have a communication with you. But if you have any questions on that, I got about 30 minutes.
I can text James when they start talking about it. And
Okay. So the last thing I want to say is communication and collaboration is the key to stopping a lot of this, this stagnation that we have here in the valley. As I realized and stated on Tuesday's meeting, which thank you for being on there, I stated the fact that we have a silo effect happening. And I see that happening in the Tuesday meeting because I'm not getting questions. I'm not seeing people coming on to that meeting and asking questions. It feels as though a lot of us are only talking to each other. And we're talking to people who are of our segment of this population and our segment of the demographics. In this community, we have a lot of different segmented demographics. And I encourage you to reach out to those other segments and start learning about what those segments' needs are so that we can have this resort grow again, have this town grow again. So we can start thinking about what this place is going to look like and how we're going to make this successful over time and not have this infighting that we've seen over the past few weeks. So that was the message I wanted to communicate today.
Thanks, Tim. I think the points that we're going to take, and I think we all agree with those points. I will not speaking for everybody, but I think we all agree that what you say is.
I'll try to make it to this meeting more often. I promise.
There's sometimes, as you know, people's minds wander a little bit, go a little off topic, and we're trying to work on that and keep things focused on the agenda and focused on the discussion items of pertinence. But you're exactly right on the feeds, and those questions can all be answered typically in an analytical process, and they're pretty straightforward, pretty cut and dry. And I think some of it may have been pertaining to some of the things that we see, like maybe at some of the ends of the roads where you used to be able to cut through, and now you have a chain there with no trespass. Some of those comments may have been directed toward that. I don't think the person who made some of those comments is here today to explain them further, but I think that's maybe some of them were directed at that. But I think all of us are in strong support of the cross country network and keeping that intact and the connectivity there as much as possible, absolutely. It's a huge asset to all of us in the valley, so.
Yeah.
We're all in favor of that. So, but thank you for your comments, we really appreciate it.
Sure, anytime.
Yeah, I'll, I appreciate your comments, Tim, that some of the discussion in past meetings has not been so focused on topics that clearly fall under what we should be doing as a conservation commission. I think we need to be more careful about that. We unfortunately are getting some broader representation on the commission. Some of the newer members unfortunately are not here right now. But I think we're all happy to see a broader representation of points of view here. And we have lots of opinions because we're engaged in the community in different ways. And some of those opinions probably should be expressed in places outside of the recorded conservation township meeting. And I think we need to try to do better at that.
Absolutely. Good. We're gonna keep working on that.
Well, and I agree with the education and, because I learned some things after I commented about the sign and I looked at it, okay, that's what that is, so. I figured, oh, they must have trouble people bringing in alcohol and they shouldn't be, so.
Oh, yeah.
So there's always a reason if you go to the source and
Mhm.
ask the question there.
Mhm. I did want to make a statement on a different issue too, if you don't mind, assaulting. I know it's been
Right.
been a hot button topic for this team for a while now. Just so you know, the resort currently uses, we do the safe salting practices, we do send our staff to the state for the training. And we actually changed over about 4 years ago to a product called Magic Salt. We don't use it in our salting of the roads, but we use it in all the salting of our facilities. It's not a salt, it's an alcohol-based, non-toxic, pet-friendly solution that we found that actually melts the salt much better. And when it gets to a liquid form, it melts the ice much better, and when it goes to a liquid form after it melts it actually stays activated for a long period of time. So it's a really great product, and it stopped the dogs from having the issues walking around tongue splitting.
Okay,
So that was a major step forward. The other part is you made a mention on the last meeting directly about the cost savings of using less salt, which there is, and you definitely, you can encourage that, but there's also a flip side to that on insurance.
absolutely.
Yeah, and the insurance responsibilities that we have as property owners to make sure that we are maintaining a certain salt level. And that's why we go through those certification processes, so that we can prove that we do have
Exactly.
that, you know, as something that we can hang our hat on.
Yep.
Everyone agrees the pictures of a snowy town and a ski resort is exactly what we would love to have. There are some outside forces there though that make it so we have to maintain clear egresses and manage our property effectively, so.
Now, that's great to hear. I think a lot of the discussion has fortunately been redirected toward the condo associations. Dealing with like underutilized roadways and things like that, and not so much what's awesome to hear, like what you're doing, that's really great. But yeah, I think like the encouragement, maybe at like some of the properties to get the green pro, whatever it's called, certification, the type of thing that you're describing, and get that going at the condo associations, and also just the people to be a little more conscious of underutilized areas
100%.
and how much salt is needed to really treat those areas. That's really so I think there's some, you know, without like beating a dead horse on this thing over and over again, but there are some areas that we can help educate the public in, particularly at the condo associations. But I mean, Mark and Megan have done an excellent job explaining how the town does things and how conscious they are about it. Now you have, so we have two major entities that are already, you know, like basically doing state of the practice type things and doing a great job. So it's just a matter of getting the others on board, and maybe that it helps us, if we're going to pursue that avenue, focus our education in other areas. So we really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, before I leave, is there any questions for me? And I'll let James know that Mark will text him. If he needs something.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate you moving that up to the agenda.
Oh, my.
I was worried about it the whole day.
Anytime. Anytime.
Thank you guys.
Take care.
Take care. See ya. Thanks.
Right. So it looks like Mark has returned. So we'll return to item number 3, the town update. So I think it's pretty much the usual stuff. There might be one item in there that Eric can explain to you regarding the Golden Heights culvert concern. Maybe the wastewater treatment update, if there is anything.
Yeah, no, nothing, yet. The engineers are working, on a revision to the, 30% final design. We are, going to, as part of the 30%, final design report, going to get an updated financial estimate on the project costs. That is due to us by the end of August. They were originally going to get it to us this month, but they ran into some issues with the site layout. And so it's gonna take them about an extra 30 days to incorporate the changes that they need to make. As part of that, we'll get those cost estimates. We know that there's gonna be a change in them, that they're gonna go higher, but we don't know how much or anything about those numbers yet. The board sometime right after Labor Day, quickly after Labor Day in September, we're going to have a public presentation of those, of that report and any revised numbers that they have. So, as far as, the plant itself, everything is going okay. We're in breakpoint chlorination, which is the ammonia removal that we have to do during the summer months under our permit. And that's going well. We have passed all of our testing. Our quarterly and monthly testing has gone well. So current plant operations are limping along, and we'll see. We all know that the time frame of the new plant to bring it online is going to be extended further out than next year before we can get it up and running. That'll be also part of the 30% final design, will be an update of the project timeline.
Yeah.
So all of that to be communicated right after Labor Day. Let everybody finish up with their vacations and get back on regular business.
Sounds good. Is there anything else that you have for us in terms of updates?
No, you probably saw we removed a dangerous tree from the intersection of Valley and Jennings Peak Road.
Okay.
That was done in cooperation with Windsor Hill Condominiums. It really was starting to lean, and it was out over the road and posed a hazard. But that was a cooperative effort with the condos. Yeah.
Okay.
The rest obviously is focused on the hearings and everything else for the site plan. Staff is going over with the resort right now some additional information that they're putting together that the planning board had requested. So
I think I only had one other thing and then I'll here.
Yeah.
Ask you about the other thing.
Sure.
So on the NRI RFP, I guess maybe I just work with Steve to get that, to retrieve that. We have kind of talked about that.
oh yes,
Yeah, so I'll
we
just-
do owe it to you,
I'll
but
just
yes,
send, it's not
send
like
him
it's a
an
big
email.
hurry, but.
Send him an email. It's in the town files. We'll get it to
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Excellent, so we can take a look at it.
Yeah. I agree. I don't think there's a rush to be doing an update to the NRI. I would like our commission to review the recommendations again.
Mhm.
At the end of this 2019-2020 report.
Yep.
Let's review the recommendations before we.
Yeah, I would really recommend that the commission just put this on your work list, because you're not gonna have, you don't have any funding right now
Correct.
to do anything, to put out an RFP. You could put out an RFP towards the end of this year so that you had numbers back to do a budget request if you want one. But I wouldn't, yeah, I don't see it as a real big,
No.
rush to get this stuff done, but yeah,
Exactly.
we can do it as part of
Yep.
the end of the year.
Just to keep it active.
Yep.
Thinking about it. Okay. And I think you had a question from Mark about the Golden Heights culvert.
We are. Here's a photo.
Which
So
culvert?
the, on the main road by the Golden Heights. What's the name of the street? Golden Heights.
Golden Heights Road.
Golden Heights Road.
Yeah,
So if you're looking at the Golden Heights
Yeah.
condos,
mhm,
the road is here, the private homes are there.
yeah,
That culvert on the corner.
Yeah.
It needs several things.
On
The-
the right hand
On the
side.
right-hand side,
on the right-hand side of Golden Heights going up,
Yeah.
yes, that end of that culvert
Yeah.
did collapse.
Hmm.
The culvert itself is collapsed. And we're not in the road repaving reconstruction plan that Megan has. That section of Valley Road between the bridge and Village Road is in one of the last years of the overall plan. So it's probably 2 or 3 years down the road, but there is no erosion that is occurring. There's no problem with drainage coming off of Golden Heights Road because they fixed the drainage swale on the right-hand side of the road as you go up it. And that is handling all of the drainage on Golden Heights right now. So we don't have a freezing problem in the spring when you have the thaw freeze. We don't have any erosion that's going on in that area. So that is a very low priority culvert. And we will need, when we replace it, what we'll do is, we'll do it when we're going to resurface Valley Road. And we're going to have to address the outfall because there's going to potentially be changes on that parcel. And we're gonna have to determine maybe a new size of the culvert, and we're gonna have to fix the outfall area. So before we do any replacing and fixing of that collapsed area on the Golden Heights side, we gotta do a lot more work. So we do know it, and in fact, we just talked to Ian about some trail work that he's gonna do between Golden Heights and the little turn in there. He's gonna outside of the town right of way on their trail easement with those property owners, he's gonna work on a roadside trail, like what goes in front of the condos. It won't be up that high, but it'll be in that little gully area to outside of the right of way. We talked to him about that collapsed end of the culvert, but there's no, unless you guys have some issue that I'm not aware of, there's no immediacy to fix that. And the only way we're gonna really fix it is to replace the whole culvert. And that's just a huge undertaking. And I don't want to patch on Valley Road if we can help it. Now, if some period down the road, because of some big storm or something, we have an issue, we'll go back and address it. But right now, we don't have any problems in that area, so
Okay.
we're letting it.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but aesthetically, we need to clean it up. It looks horrible. It looks like a mess. Sand, pebbles,
dirt, weeds, everything needs a little cleanup. Just.
Okay, well, part of that's going to be addressed by the work that Ian does, because the new trail that he's gonna build in there, let's let him get that done. He said that he's gonna work on that this summer. I don't know how quickly. But let's let him get that trail in on his easement, and then we'll look at the corner of the road. Yeah.
So it sounds like it's you know all about it, it's like everything is.
I mean, we are aware of
plan
it,
for it.
and we just, yeah, it's,
Okay,
but that, I know what you're talking about, Aaron, but let's let Ian do his thing first. So that he has that identifiable trail in there, and then we'll look at it. It is gonna be an area that's gonna be mostly dirt a lot of the time, because that's where we wing everything back when they take the right and go up Golden Heights to plow it. Coming off Valley Road, that's just gonna get beat up all the time, so. We'll try to pretty it up as much as we can, but it's gonna be a dirt area primarily. It is, I'm just, and I know that it's very visible.
Yeah.
When we redo Valley Road, we will have to work that whole intersection over. And I think that's the time to put the landscaping in but that's down the road. Just on the priority list right now.
all right. Any other questions for Mark?
Probably no change yet on the, whether or not the town will be required to do something with the 13 acres with the 50,000.
Yeah, we have not, we're just dealing with some other stuff, especially the treatment plant right now, and we have it on our work plan for the select board
No
to
rush.
get to that, but we will keep this a secret. We are going to be putting a sign up on dedicating that area to David and Bertie. And we'll have a little ceremony out there. And so, the other thing, you will see some paint markings. We're talking about exactly where the sign will go. And then on the other side, as you drive in and turn left into the dog park area, on the left-hand side, you're gonna see some paint on it. We're going to just, no digging. We're gonna put in some crushed gravel, and there's gonna be a spot for 2 or 3 car parking in there. It's gonna be out of sight of West Branch Road, so that not everybody is trying to park there. But David and Bertie had just asked for an area for them to park. I guess David's having trouble getting around a little bit, and Bertie had asked us to just make them a spot where they could drive down there and then walk their dog in that area. So that'll be a temporary thing. Again, it'll, however, we have to deal with DES. It won't be anything that would impact that. We're gonna put a little sign up there that says reserved parking for David and Bertie. So that'll be probably in the next few weeks with we'll have a little ceremony, and we'll make sure it's on the town website and stuff. But David and Bertie do not know about that, so
Okay.
please don't say
You want
anything.
this in the minutes or not?
No, I do not, please, if you can. Well, I'm recorded,
Uh-oh.
forgot. Oh, well, I
Maybe nobody
just
watched.
want you guys, I didn't want you guys to be surprised when the sign went up and everything, so I know you're. And we will coordinate, more work on that is to come.
Excellent. All right, well, thank you, Mark. I think you have an engagement, don't you have an engagement?
I have to go take a drive to Littleton for another engagement, so.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else on the agenda that we moved before. I moved the NRI thing up, so I think we're good.
Yeah, how do you want to handle the letter and your discussion about the you know, whether the Conservation Commission is gonna make any comments on the project. Because do you want James down here to answer questions or are you?
I don't think so. I think our role is mostly gonna just be how we're going to discuss how we're going to work with planning in general and what planning expects from us, so and kind of what the expectations are and
Okay,
what our ultimate, you know. Like if we're gonna make a statement or.
yeah, well, and
That's
I would
basically-
just ask that if you do decide to make a statement, that you do it in writing. That you have a vote here that's online.
Yeah.
And that you, you know, be official about it,
Yeah.
that's all. That it come from the board
Mhm.
and not,
From the commission.
from the commission, not, from you guys as individuals. Okay,
Sounds good.
very good.
All right,
I will, huh,
Before you
yes,
leave.
yeah.
Other than my text from Rick Vanderpool. do you have
Oh,
any-
yeah, Rick Vanderpool, yes, so Rick and I had a telephone conversation. And he is planning to begin work in September. We will have town staff assisting him with some machinery. On that work, we have not coordinated, all of the specifics of that. But, generally, it's the second and or third week of September right now. Weather dependent, of course, but we are planning on.
excellent. That's great news.
Yeah.
I know we have that on our agenda, maybe there's more that this house we
I
can.
think he said at the end of August for channel clearing, and then maybe the town employees that are getting involved in September.
Yeah, and maybe he's gonna do some pre-work
Pre-work.
in August, but that's gonna be on him, but as far as the town is concerned,
Mhm.
we'll be helping him.
I think some of his work is not gonna require heavy equipment.
Right, right, some of it's by hand.
And hopefully he'll join us at our next August meeting.
Oh, good,
So we'll send him a link.
Perfect.
That's it.
All right, thanks, Mark.
okay. And somebody will, end the meeting on Zoom,
Yeah, we should really look at that.
okay.
No button the question.
Yeah, well, I don't.
Do you know, did she go to YouTube in addition to, Zoom?
Thought she mentioned we were on YouTube.
Yeah, I think we can kill it. We're not.
All right,
We'll
very
figure it
good.
out.
Hi, James, I was just gonna come up and get you.
I had a
Or
feeling,
Tell you.
I had a, you know,
You're-
I had a
we're-
vibration
we're
in my
connected.
skull, a
Yes, we're
vibration in my
connected.
skull.
You wanna
Yes.
You wanna move the
You
topic?
get me anything?
Should we pop it up? Yeah. Okay, why don't we do the planning update?
I'm
first?
sorry, I forgot to apply the unit, but I got it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we're working good.
Great. All right,
Kinda,
I realized today I didn't apply.
the actual message.
so just like the update. and
Oh,
Public
sure,
hearing.
sure.
No, I meant to.
Yeah.
So we'll run that was you.
Yeah.
You would go quickly on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Just do it right away, yeah, like that. That way we just say- He's gonna watch the real. All right, so we're gonna move on to the planning board update, John. So can you give us an update on how things went, the public hearing and the other things that the planning board's been involved in lately?
Yeah, so. Of course, we're still in deliberation and discussion with the site plan review. We're, we discussed about Rick Vanderpool coming, thank you, there, for making that happen. With the information on. We had a couple of meetings, that we're gonna put into the public, I believe. And maybe another non-meeting for the planning board.
Okay.
Also. What do we have here? There was some discussion about. A lot line adjustment. Lisa, we had owned some property up where the hammerhead is, I believe, no. The golf course.
Yeah.
And they're just moving a lot line, it's still staying, recreation, it's not gonna change or anything.
Right.
But it's just a lot line that's changing because of ownership. Changing down and stuff.
Is that the line with Cliff's?
Yeah.
Well, there were two, there was Lisa Reed's was adjusted slightly, and then Cliff. His lot was expanded to the rest of the hammerhead. That goes up that little jog.
yeah,
But his two existing lot lines were eliminated. And they were moved down to a new lot line. Right across the base of, so it was right here. So Lisa Reed's property, this line right here is now straight across here. And then this is Cliff. This line and this line were eliminated and moved to a line that cuts across. So, no new law, there was, it's really an expansion of both of the lots. Didn't create any other new buildable lot then.
Okay.
And none of the zoning changed,
Right.
so.
Thanks for that.
And, well, I believe that's really about it.
Do you have an update on the timelines, for things moving forward with planning? Are we still on the same?
We're still on the same.
Is there a plan still there was discussion of a possible site visit, is that?
That has not been scheduled yet.
No, we'll probably, in August, we'll probably come up with some type of information.
The meeting was adjourned to August 14th at 8 AM. So they're not gonna hold another meeting in between. So any site visit would either have to happen on the 14th or after.
And that was really about it. If
Okay.
there's any other questions.
Any directives for us that you would like to see us completing for you and anything like that? Anyone?
Well, just
Any advice?
your typical, board recommendations to the planning board, any projects you feel are. And I'm not at liberty to discuss any further.
Sounds good. All right, thanks, John.
Okay.
So I think we have James Sununu in the audience here. So we have an agenda item that is pertaining to the Outdoor Adventure Center.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, I'm gonna recuse myself
Oh, sure.
on this issue
Okay.
because I'm a planning board member.
Yeah.
And you guys should discuss that between.
Yeah.
Or yourself.
Okay. So I was, if nobody objects, I would like to move that up to right now since James is here so that he doesn't have to wait for.
I appreciate that.
Everything else.
I hadn't realized it was on there, so
Okay.
I was able to, I happened to be here, so I popped in.
Okay, so I think I can give a little introduction and then Charles, you can kind of take over. Okay, so I think the way the Conservation Commission is wanting to approach this item is to kind of understand sort of what the planning board is looking for us to do in terms of a position or advisory role on it. So Charles has taken the initiative to create sort of some ideas, what we want to James do. Some ideas as to how what that advisory might look like, working, it's nothing that is sort of concrete at this point, just sort of something to work off of. Is that how you would describe it, Charles?
Sure.
Okay, so why don't you take over?
I've taken quite an interest in this project. I've attended planning board, the public hearing. I also attended the last public planning board session on this. And I've spent some time working around the area where this is proposed. And as I was thinking about how this commission should commission should respond. I did a little research on what our role is and what we might do that would be appropriate in terms of advising planning board.
When you guys are done with the meeting, you just want to get me, I'll come down and stop it. Recording.
That takes the pressure off.
Okay. Thanks, Sonia. I need like 3 of them. Yeah.
So, in the document you have before you is something I actually finalized, this current draft this morning. As I kept editing and researching things to prepare it, I first of all looked at our recently approved mission statement. I also looked at the RSA 36A, which describes the role of conservation commissions in the state of New Hampshire. I looked at a lot of documents. I looked at the master plan and what it has to say that's relevant to this, and I looked specifically at the site plan review regulations that the planning board has to go. I paid a lot of attention to what the planning board is doing. I have watched with great sympathy how the different members of the planning board have dealt with this, and I certainly appreciate all that they do. I realize they have some very difficult decisions. I've become aware that there is far more controversy, at least in some circles, regarding this project. I don't know how widespread it really is, but it's something that we need to be concerned about. So I prepared this statement as a way of expressing what I believe the Conservation Commission should be doing as an advisory body to the planning board. I'm doing that mindful that the planning board, I hope, would value some input from this body, which is created to advise it on conservation issues, as well as all of the different kinds of input it is getting from the public. So I think what I'll do is, as Paul had suggested earlier, I'll go ahead and read the statement aloud. I am proposing that the Conservation Commission either adopt it as is or go ahead and revise it. Initially, I thought we would just put together a statement together here ourselves. I realized that would take me far too long to do that in a public meeting. So I'll go ahead and propose this. If it's acceptable, I think the next step is that we vote on it after any changes. And then this would simply be submitted to the planning board as an advisory statement from the commission on what they might think about doing, how they're going to make their decisions. Okay. Okay, so in its role as an advisory body to the planning board, the Waterville Valley Conservation Commission wishes to offer input regarding the proposed outdoor adventure zone. As part of its mission statement, the WVCC works to conserve, protect, and sustain the natural resources that define our mountain community and quality of life. That's a quote from our mission statement. As set forth in RSA 36A, it is, quote, the only local body specifically charged with protecting natural resources, unquote. We note that the 2022 master plan calls for a, quote, tastefully designed built environment surrounded by scenic mountain landscape as an essential ingredient of the character of Waterville Valley, unquote. Furthermore, site plan review regulations are intended to, quote, provide for the harmonious and aesthetically pleasing development of the municipality and its environs, unquote. The WCC regards Corcoran Pond and its environs as a central component of our mountain community. The outdoor adventure zone, as proposed, will displace most of one of the last remaining tracts of woodlands on the pond perimeter. Given our responsibility to protect natural resources and the importance of the pond environment for the character of Waterville Valley, we advise against the wholesale destruction of this forest. We acknowledge that this area is specifically exempted in Article 4 of the zoning ordinance from the setback requirement for structures, and in Article 6 from the shoreland protection overlay. Nevertheless, quote, all other provisions of the zoning ordinance remain in full force and effect, unquote. And we believe it is in the best interests of both the town and the developer to minimize several kinds of negative impacts to this area of shoreline. These impacts might be audible if the planning board is to approve the proposal with conditions. We believe these should address the quote noise that can reasonably be expected to be heard, unquote, from the vicinity, and include restrictions on hours of operation. Another potential negative impact is to the ecology of the pond. Despite efforts by the developer's engineers to contain and control runoff directly into the pond, we believe the increasing frequency and severity of storms should be taken into account in any conditional approval. Furthermore, in the interests of those who swim in the pond, fish along its banks, or compete in casting for Kirby, we are concerned about fertilizers and herbicides that may be applied to landscape. We believe these effects can be minimized, but the planning board may wish to add stronger restrictions in this regard than what is already specified in the proposal. And finally, a potentially negative impact of this project must surely be visual. How much of the existing forest, and especially of large trees, parentheses, which are supposed to be plotted in submitted documents, will be retained, and can they be expected to withstand the disturbance caused by the development? Is the planning board confident that the many plantings designated by the landscaper, in conjunction with whatever remains of the existing vegetation, will survive and provide adequate screening from the artificial structures of the aerial courses and bays? We worry that specifications in the existing proposal might allow for a wide range of outcomes. If the planning board determines that it should be approved, we urge that sufficient conditions be attached to minimize negative effects on natural resources and assure that Corcoran Pond remain the visual icon so treasured by those who visit or live in Waterville Valley.
Okay, thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
So. With that, does anybody have any comments? And James, you're welcome to,
No,
Yes.
no comment. I mean,
Okay.
I understand you guys have a role here and the, Conservation Commission has a role to play in all of this, so everyone is doing their part.
And James, I don't know if you could tell, but as I put this draft together, I took into consideration, and I've talked to Tim quite a bit about it too. Everybody's concerned that this look okay, that this be. I was impressed as I studied the plans that were submitted weeks ago to the planning board in terms of runoff, landscaping, lighting, vegetation, and so forth. There's a lot of detail there, and it was obvious to me that a lot of thought went into how to minimize negative impacts. And so I was thinking that we as a conservation commission, in our advising to the planning board, can at least suggest some ways to, I think, strengthen some of the protections and assure against outcomes that are so good. I know, for example, that I mean, I heard that there's no plan to operate this thing at night, and by heavens, and because there are people that are concerned about lighting and noise. I added something in here because if that's included as a condition of zoning approval, then it's set and it can't be easily changed at some point. Anyway, and I realize that I appreciate that they're trying to avoid chemicals flowing into the pond, and I think I saw something in there that anything that is applied would have to be done by, you might remember, a license, New Hampshire licensed, whatever, and, I don't know if that's strong enough. I know that some people are really upset that this is what's gonna happen to the fishing and so forth. I don't know, but if we can ensure that there's some greater protection than what's already in there. I'm looking for ways that the Conservation Commission can sort of work and advise the planning board to work with you folks to make these happen.
I mean, I'll just say, towards a couple of those things, one, I don't know what the conversation was before I came in, but there will be revised plans that come in. We've been asked to provide some more information or make some revisions, so all of that is typical of the planning board process, where you get feedback, you make revisions, you look at the revisions, and so there will be revised plans. There's a site walk plan once we have revisions done that will stake out kind of the boundaries of all the structures that will be there, and look at what where sections of trees can be preserved, that we expect can be preserved, and things like that. So I mean, obviously you're aware of this process, so those things will be coming up. But I'll just say that, we have just as much as interest in anybody as the pond remaining clean and available to fish and available to swim. So we have a vested interest in those things not being impacted. So it's certainly something we are mindful of.
I don't know where we're going. I did try to look up. And someone else, Rick Smith, I tried to learn more about these aerial structures. And I went on the website of the company. And I really couldn't get, I still don't understand what those things are. And what kind of, I mean, there are many different variations there, and it wasn't very complete on the website. I couldn't even find the image that appeared in the plans.
Because that's a custom image.
Okay.
That's
why I
why.
couldn't find it.
Yeah, so that was a custom image created for us. So these are aerial courses, rather than being built physically into trees. They are built, they put in the steel pilings that act as the trees, and then the elements, as they call them, are strung between those posts. And so it has a little bit different safety system where you are in a harness and physically into the frame of the course, rather than having carabiners that have to be connected and disconnected and can fail and things like that. So it's a variation on that, but yes, it's more artificial than a course that is strung between trees.
And you can tone down the colors.
Yes. Yes, I mean, if you look at their website, they'll have them in pastel color. They have, every color imaginable, but
Yeah.
our plan is to be, brown and forest green, and to we don't intend to have any, bright colors on them. So, yes.
How does the rest of the commission feel about the statement that Charles just read?
I thought the statement was good. To the point. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Charles, for, putting this together. It's extremely helpful to guide the conversation into the relevant matters that the commission should be concerned about. I think that it's well appreciated by all of us. It's up to the commission if you want to let it kind of ride for now and have a few looks at it, like maybe over the next few days or weeks. I think we can do that. We can have alternates review it as well.
Sure, but it shouldn't go weeks.
No,
There is a.
right, we don't really know the time, I guess we really don't know
We do know the time.
the timeline when we have to get.
For the planning board, which, I think it's like 65 days,
Mhm.
it's August 24th.
August.
The 22nd, it's technically the 23rd, but that Friday is the 22nd. What I would do is the planning board there's a bunch of revisions and additional information that is due by August 7th. So if you you'll need a special meeting meet quickly, look it over. If you want to make changes, whatever, but a vote, you should have a vote on the record in a set of minutes, even if it's a special meeting. And try to do it before August 7th and submit it 7th. Yeah. Yeah.
I
So,
think that's reasonable. I think
Okay.
we'd like maybe our alternates to take a look at it.
Sure.
Particularly Cliff.
Mhm.
And get his feedback and.
Okay.
others Too. I think that's prudent, but I think, you know, Charles, you've addressed the primary concerns that the Conservation Commission should be worried about. We're not worried, but should be considering. And I think that that's important. Guides that keeps the conversation very focused on, you know, what we should be looking at and what we should be guiding. Give the guidance to the planning board. So I think it's an excellent start. If it ends, it's probably very close to what we will ultimately adopt, but I think it's you know, it's also a matter of what the planning board expects from us too, so. Kind of,
well, they expect you to review those things that are statutorily your things to review. The drainage, the stormwater, those sorts of things. So if you're doing that and you're giving them input, they can check that off the list.
yes, it'd have to be soon, because I'll be on vacation like July 30th. So it'll be before July 30th. And we can.
So you're gonna just send an email out
We'll send
with
an
that?
email, we'll
Okay.
have a quick review. If everybody can take this back and review. And
Okay.
then offer some comments and then we can,
Probably next week.
I would guess.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Sure, should we distribute either a PDF or Word copy to the commission as opposed to the paper copy? I sent one to you.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I sent you the PDF.
Sure.
You could,
Sure.
you could, I think people might want to see that, especially the others.
Yeah.
Send it to Steve, Paul, and then we can get it out to all the members. So you've got an email that came from staff out to them.
Okay.
And we can send that out with the notice of whatever date you pick. The only thing next week in here is gonna be the select board meeting at 3 PM on Wednesday.
We do need to be in person too, like we can't meet Zoom.
Yeah, you can't meet Zoom. You gotta have a quorum here in person, and then the rest could join by Zoom, but
All right. Well, thank you so much, Charles. I appreciate the initiative and it really got the discussion going
He's worked very hard.
and it keeps it focused on the issues that matter. That's what I want.
mhm.
And I meant to say this after the last meeting, James, I appreciate the patience you guys have. Because there's been a lot of.
Look, this is part of the process, you know, we've tried to, you know, communicate as we've gone through, we've, you know, presented this concept master plan and. And talked about these things as we go, but, you know, and frustration is not the right word, but, you know, things that come up where people are, you know, I know they're going online and lots of conversation happening about that and, you know, but discussing this, that what you see up on the wall is though that's a submitted, approved plan with the town. That's a concept, right? One of many concepts. I mean, frankly, there's been a dozen of them over the years and most of them weren't ours. They were from long before we ever owned these properties. And so, you know, so it's sort of whack-a-mole sometimes, but I'm always happy to come in and discuss these things and answer questions. And, you know, we had that, public meeting at the Snowy Owl to discuss this and we talk about the whys and the thought process behind it. But I also understand that some of the things that we propose to do aren't gonna be everyone's cup of tea, but there's probably not, if that's your standard, then nothing's ever gonna
Right.
change. So that can't be the standard where everyone is happy. And so I understand that, and it's our job to answer questions and explain why we're doing what we're doing and why we're doing it and why we feel it's a beneficial improvement to the resort, to the community. And so perfectly happy to answer questions. If you have any questions now, I'm happy to answer them, but you know, we've had the planning board meetings and, you know, perfectly happy to do that anytime.
Is there any questions for James?
Wow, easy crowd.
Thank you for making that true, but thank you for-
But, you know, if you have future meetings and you have questions and you wanna let me know and we'll come, I'm happy to come in anytime and discuss this stuff.
Well, no, thank you for coming
And,
today.
you know,
Appreciate it.
I get that this is all part of the process. I don't take any offense to it. And I mean, I know there's been a lot, you know, I frankly, I think fairly, some of our employees' feelings were hurt by some of the things that were said about how we operate and what we do and don't do. And, you know, there's such a thing as, you know, fair observation, and then there's such a thing as I think is, you know, unnecessary disparagement of frankly how we operate the resort. It's a, you know, there's no excuses. It's a tough business. It's a very competitive business, and there's lots of things we have to make choices on, wants versus needs, and things like that. And we make those choices every day, and we try to do it in the way that best that provides the best experience for our guests and for the safety and for the community. And, you know, there's just lots of levers being pulled, and you can't always pull all the levers at once. So that's all just part of it, and we're happy to keep the discussion going. So,
We appreciate your time.
yeah, thank you. I'm glad I could stop in. I hadn't realized you guys were meeting, so I'm glad I was happened to be here. So, all right.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Right, so I will
Thanks.
get back.
No,
to the-
I'll call you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk again.
Okay.
Just like it's-
If he's on vacation this week.
We were just going over some stuff. We asked who again.
Okay.
In case anything comes up that there's.
Okay. So, let's move on. We'll come up with that meeting. It will be before the 30th
Yes.
of July, because we'll be out that time. At any rate,
So rude.
so we'll get this done. But thank you, Charles. I mean, it's really, really great. So we'll get this discussion focused and moving along. All right, let's move on to a couple of things here. The salt management informational brochure. Are there did anybody have any comments on that at all? I don't know if Mark, if you've seen it.
I don't think
I
I,
can send it to you.
yeah, just send
I
it to
think
me.
overall, I looked at it again today. I thought that, you know, the letter that goes to the condo association, I thought was pretty good. I thought maybe we could emphasize a little bit more on the, you know, the concept of focusing on high use areas, and kind of try to come up with maybe a very brief statement that, it's just the efficiencies there, that's all. We heard from Tim, I think that was very instructive earlier, a privilege of the floor. And he explained the steps that they're taking, so I think we can all feel pretty good about the salt usage at the resort and their approach. We obviously know that the town is doing an excellent job with respect to that too. So, yeah, I think if we can just read this through one more time, maybe approve something at the next meeting. I can put a little bit of language into the high use areas without making it too long, but also trying to keep it in a easily readable format and a not too technical. I don't want to say a certain grade level, but we should keep it at a very
Second,
so, okay.
pictures
All right,
are
so,
awesome.
If you all have any comments, I know that Cliff is the maker of some of these, you know, of the document, and I have the originals now, so we can work on that and get it out with the name and after the next.
I think that what we've done discussed on this one was to condense.
Yeah, we'll condense, and also I think for these little leaflets, we would shrink them down so that they fit into like a little card.
So,
But for the property managers or whoever we're gonna send this to, with respect to the condo, I think this is probably, you know, we can trim it down a little bit, but I think overall the content is pretty good. All right, and we could give you a copy too, so if you have some comments.
Roger that.
Mark,
I'll show it
and
to
your
Megan.
expertise.
Yep,
You seem to
no
know a lot
problem.
about this topic, so
No problem.
your input would be very helpful. All right, Snowsbrook remediation project here, I think we got the update as part of the town
Mhm.
discussion. Is there anything else we need to add to that? It's just very good news that Rick is gonna be starting our work again, so.
That's us, yes. We're very excited.
All right,
So August and September.
um,
And then.
we talked about the NRI a
Not
bit.
yet.
Oh,
We just
sorry.
mentioned, that we need to review the recommendations
Right,
that already exist, so I think we should table it for next meeting, there's a lot to go over.
Okay.
That's my suggestion.
Yep. I think I distributed at least like some slides about the NRI in one of my emails back in.
The last few pages.
Yeah, the last few pages, so you can kind of get a feel for that.
So we'll put it on the agenda for next.
Yep, and I was, based on those recommendations, is from what I've seen, a lot of the updates we could probably do. Either ourselves or when we wanted to look into some student labor. And maybe a review by, pay Rick for a few hours to review what we ultimately do. That would be some ideas, just to save money and to kind of do it efficiently. And realizing that there's not probably all that much that's changed.
Mhm.
So, but again, this is something that we just want to keeping our minds moving forward. Excellent. All right. So I have master plan action items from chapter 8. Do we want to discuss that today? I mean, we're already on it.
Exactly.
We can table that. We can table that as long as we keep our eyes on that.
Yep, sure.
Okay, we can just put that on the agenda next time. All right, so the new business, I think we've covered the main topic again. Thank you so much, Charles, for preparing that. Good there. All right, there's one other thing here that I don't want to open up a big discussion item on, but just want to, you've got this article that Eric sent to me that I forwarded to you about sort of this trend in fireworks production and how the technology is moving into different areas. And but just take that as sort of like
Yeah, okay.
Food for thought.
food for thought.
Yeah.
When no one's like, we're not here to ban fireworks or anything, we just want people to be aware of some of the impacts that they might cause both on the wildlife and perhaps even in air quality. Obviously, there's a lot of things that need to be considered here in terms of the frequency of which we use fireworks, which class of fireworks we're using, these types of things. So there's a lot of education that needs to be done before we can really, and also cost, what things cost and so to ensure
Yes.
we can think about that.
Do you want to put it on the agenda for next?
Yeah, is everybody interested in the topic?
Yeah.
Yeah, should be. There's more interest than I expected. Let's put it
Okay,
that way.
so you're hearing it from other people
I'm
around.
hearing it from, yeah, I heard it from Wendy, the subject came up at their. What's it called? The resort.
Resort Association.
Yeah, it's been bandied about, let's put it that way.
Okay,
But. yeah.
we can also, I mean, there's a lot of areas to look at. We have great resources in New Hampshire to learn about the wildlife, particularly bear populations and moose populations, how they might be affected by these types of things. So probably, I'm sure a biologist can help us. Sure, so I mean, there's a lot of things with obviously what the frequency is, and
Yeah.
there's a number of factors, cost being another one.
Yes.
Certainly the marketability of the resort too, because I know that,
Yeah, they don't want to spend.
well, particularly, there's like, I'm sure the visitors really enjoy the fireworks that do happen in the winter time and really appreciate that, so. There's those types of considerations as well, so.
As far as putting this on the agenda, I'm not sure we need to try to do it for next meeting.
Mhm.
It's quite a bit, and I don't think there are. The next fireworks, I don't know what's left.
Nothing, not until January.
Right.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Year's Eve probably
And
would
I
be the
think
next.
also, given that many of the fireworks displays are put on by the resort, it would be useful to get their opinion on their take on it as well. Maybe Tim
Sure,
or James could,
right.
if we want to discuss this, we could have them
Mhm.
in on the discussion as well.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
but I think that if everybody's interested in moving forward as, just kind of keeping it as an item
Yeah.
that we it's on our radar or on our discussion list
Mhm.
from time to time.
Right.
Then let's do that. Is that
Right.
good?
Yeah.
And thank you for sending the article and giving us, okay, excellent.
And,
There's the last one, which is also yours, it's
right,
the,
so we have a land
You go ahead.
acknowledgement that's about 3 years old. So, happy birthday.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we call it land acknowledgement, I think that's on the record as land acknowledgement. But
Mhm.
lately I've been reading and also using a stewardship statement, which is more in line with, this is also what the New Hampshire Association of Concons also refers to. They use land acknowledgement and stewardship statement, which is completely relevant. So, if you want, if we're talking about a revision, we can say slash stewardship statement. If you want to just leave it alone, I'm fine with leaving it alone. I think most people know what land acknowledgements are. We have people who were traveling to Australia recently. The person said, I thought about you. I said, what do you think about me in Australia? He said, everywhere I went, they read a land acknowledgement. At the symphony, they read the land acknowledgement everywhere he went. So it didn't have to be just native places. As for this group, I thought we would be including it in our official communiques. So when the chair writes an email, you should be, well, I would like to see you put it in the bottom of your email. Or any official letters when you address the planning board. It just needs to be more visible. That's my opinion.
yeah. So are you proposing any changes to it, or are you happy with it?
I'm happy with it, yes.
Okay.
It came straight from the INHCC, so.
Just to expose it more.
Yeah. Use it more.
So you would like to add stewardship, the word stewardship
it's-
or not?
Well, I'm bringing it up to you. Do you want to use land acknowledgement / stewardship statement? No?
Well, I
Or
mean, I
leave
guess
it
if
alone.
in concert with what you're saying, we could somehow include stewardship in our current, as occurring presently, right? Because it says have stewarded,
Yes.
so we can put that into the present tense, that stewardship is
Well-
continuing stewardship, something like that. Now, granted, our mission statement has some of that already, so,
So, just a little grammar comment. When you say have stewarded, it's a present perfect tense. It includes the present and the past. So we don't need to say and stewarding. We have stewarded means we stewarded in the past and steward in the present. So you don't need to do anything. It's redundant. Yeah.
Right. I would maybe say like continued stewardship or something of that nature, but
Yeah, but you're not a grammar teacher.
I'm just the engineer, so I don't.
Yeah,
All right, maybe my daughter can look at this, she can give me that English. All
trust me, it's true.
right, so, anyway, let's,
What were you proposing to change on the? have
Not- not-
stewarded?
No, no.
not necessarily proposing any change here.
No change, just to call it, the naming of this statement can be land acknowledgement, leave it alone, or land acknowledgement / stewardship statement. That's all, just adding,
Or
Exactly.
if you think it's feasible.
I think it's good to revisit these things, like you're saying, because they have been, it's been, you say 3 years now, so it's, maybe time to, if anybody would propose any changes, to and entertain them. So, let's,
Are we thinking on it, or, well, how do you feel? What do you think? Feeling, thinking,
I actually have nothing to share about.
Okay.
We've already accepted this. I don't think anything has changed in terms of our acknowledgement. I would just leave it alone. I'm not sure that I need to revisit it.
leave it alone.
okay,
Yeah,
Well-
the idea came up with,
Well, it wasn't to leave it alone, it was more for exposure of what the commission believes in, what we've already put in place. That's all. So everyone knows our statements and mission statements. and
Mhm.
stuff, you know.
So perhaps I think.
We could put the mission statement on the.
So
Right.
Yes. The other one, you have communication.
Right. So when we're doing the annual town report, for example. You can put the mission statement, you can put the land acknowledgement in. And then really summary of what we've done in 2025.
Yeah.
That will come out.
Have to know, by the way.
It's not-
Sure.
Mark will
We
give
can't
you a
keep
reminder.
tabling that. I don't know. After 8 items, but definitely. We have to cover that.
Yeah.
All right. That's perfect. All right, so we'll keep, if there's no further discussion on this item, we'll just leave it the way it is.
Yes.
And if, as always, if you want an agenda item pertaining to something like that, just let me know. We'll do it. All right. Okay, I think we've reached pretty close to the end here. We have a privilege of the floor, but I don't think anybody's online. And I don't think anybody's in the seats as far as I can tell. So our next meeting is set for August 21st at 12 p.m., our usual time, third Thursday of the month. We will have that special meeting to discuss the work that Charles has done after we have our alternates review. And the rest of us have reviewed it.
Perfect.
So I'll get that out very soon, probably sometime next week, I'm guessing.
You want to schedule it now? The meeting?
Maybe not just yet. Maybe like tomorrow. But I'll get this down. That's good. And you can see how that works for you. All right, any other business anybody would like to discuss as part of provision of the floor or anything like that? No?
Nope.
No? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Yeah, good.
That's an announcement.